So we call ourselves the slow roamers, and by that you'd assume we move pretty slow. Well, not all the time. We're about to break that mold. Ahead of us lies El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. 3 beautifully unique countries, places we could probably spend a lifetime. But we've received our shipping dates across the Darien Gap. That leaves us a limited amount of time to explore what countries remain in Central America. The land that we plan to traverse is hot, humid, and full of volcanoes. Kind of like a gauntlet of fire. Upon us now is go time, so buckle up and let's roam.
Some roads don't simply exist on a map. They live in your mind, calling to you in your sleep, filling your thoughts at work. The Pan American Highway, a road spanning the length of North and South America, a 30,000-kilometer road trip through more than 15 countries, is that road for us. Life to us is nothing more than a collection of moments, and we want to fill our moments with adventure. So for 18 months, we'll be driving south from Tuktoyakta, Canada, all the way to Ushuaia, Argentina. From the Arctic to the Andes, through deserts, jungles, and the unknown, we'll live and wander in our self-built adventure mobile, seeking stories, chasing landscapes, and redefining what it means to us to be modern-day explorers. This is our journey.
Did you know that El Salvador has 242 volcanoes, 36 of which are still active? For a country the size of the state of Massachusetts, that's a lot of volcanic activity. So it's unsurprising that the first thing we've parked beside in this country is the confluence of 2 hot rivers, one at 36 degrees Celsius and the other at 45 degrees Celsius. I can't say we're particularly well educated on what there is to do in El Salvador, but a pretty good fallback in this country is the exploration of at least some of those 242 volcanoes, and from a quick look at a map, it looks as if they're all in a line heading south. Perfect. We love it when a plan comes together. Okay, so last night we crossed into El Salvador. It was kind of one of those last minute decisions. We went to a parking lot to sleep for the night in Guatemala, and we're like, nah. So it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we just sent it, and the border took us 3 hours.
Yeah, because the system to issue or to cancel the TIPs was down, so we were just twiddling our thumbs for 2 hours, but it was time well spent because we met some other travelers, and it was nice to hang with them. But anyways, we're in El Salvador a day ahead of time, back in the hot, humid heat. So we're escaping to some volcanoes immediately to do some hiking and hopefully camp at higher elevation where we can cool off a bit.
Yeah. We're a ways out of town, having wandered away from the main road for half an hour in the dark last night, and our destination lies a few hours southwest. We'll need to venture along some dirt road and through a few small towns before reaching the main highway.
Well, my daughter thought you were going to get poisoned.
Well, did you almost die while getting fruit?
No, I was safe. It was fine. Everything's fine.
We're on the side of a highway getting fruit right now. There are cars racing by like crazy.
Yeah.
But we're alive.
Crazy.
Despite the temperatures still being in the low to mid 30s here in El Salvador, it seems a little more manageable than it has in the past month. Perhaps it's the daily rains that we've started to see, or maybe we're growing somewhat accustomed to it. Either way, El Salvador feels just a tiny bit cooler. Luckily, as we begin to climb, the air begins to lose its hot and sticky characteristic, and is now only sticky.
believe it. It is cool enough for Meg to cook once again.
We got butternut squash, arugula, tomato, olive, goat cheese salad with some rotisserie chicken on the side.
Wow, you really pulled out all the stops, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna need all this fuel because I think we're gonna do a sunrise hike tomorrow to the top of Santa Ana volcano. So, yep, better have lots of energy to burn. Well, we failed. We got this, we parked at the trailhead, but it's the trailhead that takes us to the actual trailhead. And it's, 4:30 in the morning. We didn't think anyone was going to be awake, but there's definitely guys waiting at the booth to stop people from hiking up without a guide. There were people at 3:30 this morning that...
They probably had a guide, babe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going back to the van and we gotta return here at 8 to get a guide. Hey, missing sunrise.
Take two?
Take two. Wanna tell us what happened?
We came back to the information booth when they told us to, but there was nobody around to join a group with us for a free guide. So these kind people have a private tour and they just said, come along. It's no problem.
All Salvadorian hospitality.
Hiking mountains is something that gives us immense joy and satisfaction. The feeling of being higher than everything, exposed to the elements and alone atop a mountain is a feeling we love to chase. Here in Central America, the alone part doesn't really happen, but there are volcanoes to hike, and that means we have the chance at a view and a width of high elevation air. Each boot step up this trail felt so good and brought back to us the familiar feeling of being surrounded by mountains. But unlike the mountains back home, what you find up here is evidence of a frightful and violent act of nature. Towering at 2,381 meters, Volcano Santa Ana, also called Yumatepec, is El Salvador's highest and most explosive stratovolcano. Nestled within 4 concentric craters lies a scorching turquoise lake simmering at around 50 degrees Celsius. Its violent history stretches back to 1520, with the dramatic 2005 eruption shooting ash 14 kilometers into the sky and hurling rocks the size of cars. I think it's best not to poke this wasp nest. It will definitely come out swinging. Think of our first volcano hike in El Salvador.
Super
Super.
excelente.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's so nice. Aside from the smell. I don't love sulfur.
Honestly, it smells better than me right now.
Alex has been given a gift of guayaba.
Yeah, gracious tour mates gave us all their guayaba because I like it so much. Oh, good. Just a peaceful volcano, dog. Chilling. Arriving back at the van, we decided to stay an additional night in the trailhead parking lot. It was one of the more peaceful spots we'd found to camp in a while, and with the elevation and nightly rainstorms, we could sleep comfortably, a luxury we weren't ready to pass up. Feeling fresh and ready for more the next day, we started down the mountain in search of the next spot. We had our target set on a spot atop the rim of another volcano, somewhere supposedly hidden in the trees. With the memory of a cool night's sleep still fresh in our minds, we eagerly pressed on towards whatever the road had next for us to see. A charming thing we found out about in El Salvador is that if you're recreating via volcanoes, you can almost see from one to the next. In this case, moving through the farmland in the valley below Santa Ana, we could stare across at Volcán San Salvador, where we were headed next. Unfortunately, as we turned off the road just before the entrance to the national park above and began to follow this cobbled road upwards, the grade quickly increased to well above the percentage that Betty is capable of, and once again, we were stopped dead in our tracks. One more try for good measure, just to see if we can get past the crux.
Nope. Too steep. Well, darn.
Well, we got turned around at the very, very top. That incline was just too steep for us to make it up, unfortunately. And then there's a national park up here, but I'm pretty sure there's no campground there. So we're gonna head back down the mountain and kind of reassess our situation here, just because we would kind of like a peaceful spot to camp tonight. But we need to be in San Salvador tomorrow to sell our kind of broken drone. That's how she goes. Well, it's not the camp we wanted, but it's the camp we got. So we're just inside San Salvador right now. I think we're probably just going to do some work here and wait for the gentleman that's going to buy our drone. And then we're gonna make our way up to a lake tonight. But this is a decent enough spot to just chill out, regroup a little bit, and lick our wounds. We're finally getting pupusas.
Yeah.
We've only been here for 3 days, and finally we're getting pupusas.
Shoo! Look, they have a special Thursday through Sunday, 3 p.m. to 7.
So we just sold our Air 2S drone. Goodbye, droney. That was a good drone for us. Unfortunately, we just didn't have much faith that it could carry on through the entire Pan Am. So in a couple weeks' time, we'll be picking up our new drone in Costa Rica. And we are very excited for that because flying our little Mini 2 has been good, but also very slow. Our first pupusas.
Smells good.
They look so delicious. They smell really good too. We're unclear whether or not pupusas should be eaten with fork and knife, but we're doing it anyway.
It says they're too hot. Not because we're not animals.
Well, what did we do?
We got artisan ice cream. Look at how good it looks. Taro, Oreo, and caramel almond.
Delicious.
Yes.
I just got Oreo because I'm a plain Jane. Even though we had been denied our last attempt at a camp spot, we had a list of suggestions from a fellow traveler to work through, so we just progressed to the next spot, which is, yep, another volcano. This is Lago Ilopango, the collapsed heart of a volcano that erupted catastrophically around 450 CE. That mega eruption reshaped the land and gave birth to the lake's 8 by 11 kilometer caldera. Over a millennium later, in 1879, a lava dome rose in the lake's center, forming the rugged Islas Quemadas. Silence, along with cool places to sleep for a night, is something we're learning to savor here in Central America. As any overlander will tell you, Central America is a place teeming with life. Bird life, animal life, insect life, and human life. All of which make a lot of noise. In the earlier moments of the day before animal and human life begins to stir, you can sometimes imagine the semblance of quiet. Because we had arrived there a day ahead of schedule, we gave ourselves a full day to enjoy the lake. El Salvador seemed to be really doing its best to treat us to a really nice time. Buenos dias! Momentary dip worthy.
Maybe not head worthy.
Yeah, no, not that. Well, we have enjoyed 2 nights here on the beach. It has been wonderful and a great time to catch up on work and relax a little bit. Today we are heading to a hot river pouring out of the mountainside, piping, steaming hot. That's going to be pretty cool. And then we're going to head to another, you guessed it, volcano. Because in El Salvador, that's what you do. You visit volcanoes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Arriving at the road into El Infernillo, we found horses, which, of course, Meg had to go make friends with as soon as humanly possible. Well, ahead of us is El Infierno. Infernillo. So it's just a boiling hot river. And the sign back there said 4x4 only. Thus far, doesn't look like the road would have given us much trouble. But
We're trying to be nice to the van.
yeah, we're just trying to be
And
nice.
since we're not camping here, there's no point.
Yeah.
Better to get the legs moving.
Yeah. Tucked into the southern slopes of El Salvador's Chicontepec volcano lies El Infernillo, often referred to as the Little Hell. It's a surreal geothermal field where steam hisses from the earth, mud bubbles with sulfur, and the air smells faintly of minerals. These fumaroles and hot springs are remnants of ancient volcanic activity, still breathing heat through the forest floor. I don't know about you guys, but it looks pretty hot. What do you think? Is it hot?
I don't want to test it.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm in danger here. There's like scalding, bubbling hot water just under the rock right there. And then it's coming out over there.
I don't know about it. I know about this. I don't feel very safe here.
In short, it was extra hot here and smelled thickly of stinky sulfur. Little Hell is an apt description for this place.
Touch it. Touch it. Hot?
Yeah, that's quite hot. And the water's full of like these weird centipede things that look really, really ominous.
Dead bugs.
Many dead bugs. All these weird bugs. Just like water's full of them. Did you get frutas?
She had red bananas in there.
Red bananas.
Red bananas.
What?
So interesting.
Let's see some red bananas, because
I
I don't
didn't-
believe you.
I
didn't get any?
No, I got yellow bananas. I got the piña, limón, y bananos.
And how are the prices here?
$3.50
For
for 6 bananas, a pineapple, and 8 limes.
not bad. Not bad.
See?
Alright, let's find it. Next on the list, another volcano spot. Of course. We just love cobblestone roads so much that we just go out of our way to find them.
They're so fun.
Okay, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to be one of our best sleeps in El Salvador thus far.
Yeah. Super peaceful here.
And I was right. That night, beside the shores of Laguna de Alegria, was unconscious bliss. Even though we're moving quickly through El Salvador, it feels like the country is offering us something we've had far too little of lately: rest. After a month of relentless heat, illness, school, long drives, and border crossings, life has blurred into a state of creeping exhaustion. But since crossing out of Guatemala, we've been waking up feeling a little more like ourselves, a little more caught up each day, and that small shift feels monumental. Still, we both know what's coming. 2 more borders before we reach Costa Rica, where some long-awaited R&R awaits us. One of those crossings is said to be the worst of the entire journey. So for now, we're banking every ounce of rest we can find in El Salvador. These brief moments of peace are worth their weight in gold. Our hope is that as a viewer, you see that this journey is about more than just showing you the places we visit. We're trying to offer an honest window into what it really feels like to take on an adventure like this. Long-term travel isn't all sweeping views and postcard moments. It's intense, demanding, and constantly shifting. We always aim to share that truthfully. When the heat is unbearable, we tell you. When the rest feels like a miracle, we say that too. This kind of journey asks a lot of a person. We're not just driving for nearly 2 years straight. We're adapting to unfamiliar cultures, navigating new climates, crossing borders month after month, all while working and creating these films. Everyone travels differently. Everyone has their own version of this story. What you see here is simply ours. Raw, real, and unfolding one day at a time. The next day, we'd nearly complete the drive to the Honduras border, stopping off at Laguna de Alegria to spend the night. As we drove into the late afternoon, yet another storm crossed into our path, and as we parked up for the night, released its full payload of rain.
Okay, so many of you have been requesting that we show Meg's meals, but she hasn't really been cooking too much because it's been so hot. But tonight we are eating.
It's a breakfast hash with potatoes, ground beef, eggs, cabbage, onion, garlic, and today, to use up our produce before we cross the border, we've got some lettuce and avocado on top.
Fantastic.
Another morning of calm, like the calm before a storm. Little did we know, as we departed El Salvador that morning, we'd be departing the nights of peaceful slumber. Our already quickening pace was about to be accelerated. We would be leaving our slow roamer badge at the border and picking it up again somewhere in Costa Rica. Well, it's time to go to Honduras. It's been great here in El Salvador. But yeah, we're trying to get our way to Costa Rica, so we're moving quick.
Yep.
Let's
Border
go.
crossing day.
Country number.
Wish us luck.
Country number
7.
7. There's Honduras. Okay, so we've just canceled our TIP in El Salvador, and we're heading to get our passports stamped out, and then we're going to pass into Honduras. So here we go. Meg's getting all of our
Documents ready.
paperwork. Every border since crossing from Belize into Guatemala has become progressively more interesting and convoluted. After canceling our TIP at what looked like a shipping facility, we drove another kilometer to a building to stamp out before crossing the bridge into Honduras. Well,
We're out of El Salvador. That was the easiest exit so far.
yep, now into Honduras.
Yeah, hopefully it's not complete chaos.
It's gonna be complete chaos.
Los tickets, acá quedan. ¿Cuántos van?
Dos.
Dos.
Sí.
Ahora lo de aduana.
Ajá.
Sí.
Aduana. El
Oh.
Aribo. Ese.
Es,
Pasó sellando la finalización acá.
sí, sí.
Sí. Digital, ¿verdad?
Digital.
Ok.
Sí, digital.
Que les vaya bien.
Gracias.
Gracias. Crossing the bridge into Honduras, we drove right into a tangle of cars, delivery trucks, vendors, people, children playing, and street dogs wandering about. Luckily, everything was an easy walking distance and not too confusing, and shortly after, we were stamped into Honduras and had our TIP.
Muchas gracias.
If you're enjoying this film and want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It's a free and easy way to help our videos make it to a wider audience.
Well, wouldn't you know it? Fastest border crossing yet at exactly an hour.
Yep.
We are officially in Honduras.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna go find a place to
Ship the drone.
ship the drone, and then after that, who knows? Welcome to Honduras. It looks much like El Salvador. Okay, like 10 minutes down the road, not even. First like bribe situation.
I don't
we've had.
know. I don't know. Jury's
Oh
out.
no, I'm totally certain.
Well,
So
then why didn't he ask us for money?
I don't know. There was something amiss there because so we went through a traffic stop and the guy walks over to us all official and like looking like he's angry, and then he proceeds to explain to us that the 4 lights on the front of our vehicle are somehow illegal, and then he points at our like little ultra gauge thing and asks if it's a camera, and we say no, and then he talks about some other lights, and then we're having a really hard time with the translation, so I started using Google Translate, and then he asks to do like a really long paragraph, and the paragraph basically translates to, if you are driving more than 50% of the speed limit, there's an infraction involved, it's $20, etc. So he wasn't talking about the lights, he was talking about the speed, and he never saw us driving any faster than like our approach speed, which was us slowing down from below the speed limit for the actual traffic stop. So it was totally a bribe.
Well, I don't know, because he said for the extra lights you have to pay $20 or 100 limpias, and you have to pay it at the bank. And I said, okay, well, how do we pay? Like, can I pay you? And he said, no, at the bank. And I said, well, where's the bank? And he said, it's 30 kilometers down the road. I keep your license, you go to the bank, and then you bring me the authorization tomorrow. And then I got a little nervous, but then he just handed us Alex's license and our TIP.
Yeah, because
and said go.
Like, I was so confused. I couldn't understand, and like we kept on asking to do like Google Translate, and I think he just gave up. So I am fairly convinced that was a bribe situation.
If it was a bribe, he would have asked for money at a certain point, I think.
I think he was expecting us to be like, how much can we pay?
I asked him that.
I don't know. Anyway, that was a little bit confusing, a little bit nerve-wracking. Kind of our first run-in with police that weren't simply just looking for the proper documentation.
Maybe I asked him like how we can pay and if he can give us a receipt, and he said no, and maybe that was when he decided he was going to give up on us, but I don't know.
Well, we didn't have to pay anything.
Cows crossing.
The disconcerting possibility of a police bribe situation aside, the realization that the lights on the front of our van might give us further problems if we chose to wander about made the prospect of doing so much less desirable. When we shipped our drone later that day, the deal was sealed.
There it is. We get to say goodbye to our drone for like a week.
Bye, drone.
Bye, drone. Okay, so we just shipped our drone, which there's no drones allowed in Nicaragua if you don't know already. And it's kind of forcing our hand a little bit. We have a hard deadline to make it to Costa Rica to the shipping location that's the drone's going to in 7 days from now. We had kind of thought that we might spend the weekend here in Honduras, but we're thinking we might just cross tomorrow morning and kind of tear off the band-aid, because Nicaragua, the border crossing, is possibly the worst one on the entire Pan American Highway. Everyone that we've spoken to, everything that we've read, just says that it's really bad.
Particularly for people like us with a whole bunch of cameras and lenses.
Yeah. So we shipped our drone and our walkie-talkies, and we have like a long lens, which might be a problem. We don't know for sure. But yeah, it's going to be complicated and challenging tomorrow. And then we might just do a few little things in Nicaragua, and then we'll cross over into Costa Rica and nab our drone and also get our new drone. So.
And door handles.
And door handles.
Because our door handles are broken.
Yes.
If we haven't told you that already.
Everything is always broken.
Well, this is traffic in Honduras. It's fun.
I think you should not go.
What?
There's an ambulance. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm scared. I'm scared.
This is the truck lineup to get into Nicaragua. It's still going.
Big truck coming.
I see it.
Well, it's certainly not our most glamorous camp. Since Nicaragua is known to be such a bad border crossing, taking anywhere from an hour to 5 or more, we decided just to come straight to the border, camp overnight in a truck stop, and then we'll, I don't know, hopefully we'll have good luck tomorrow when we can make it to a spot early, and yeah. Well, I guess the saving grace of being in Central America during the rainy season is that it may get sweltering hot, but it will soon after cool off near the end of the day, because there's always a storm. We've had a storm almost every single night that we've been in El Salvador, and now we're in Honduras and there's a storm. It's pretty cool, actually. It's really nice. We were just like melting a minute ago, and now it is quite manageable. It's raining.
So nice. Ah. What?
Look at that! Holy smokes! That is some rain! Ew! Okay, and then the downside of crazy storms is that all the rain comes in through the windows, so you have to close everything up. Central America van life is a total roller coaster, I tell you. Well, what's the deal tonight?
We don't have any more vegetables, so we've got an egg, bean and cheese burrito with salsa. There's tomatoes in the salsa, so
Okay, it is Saturday morning. We are just like a few hundred meters from the Nicaraguan border. We're gonna cross today.
Wish us luck. Could be scary.
Yeah, we're a little
nervous.
bit. We're definitely worried about this.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, you'd be like waiting in line for 2 days to get past this. Or to get into Nicaragua if you're a truck driver.
That was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, not even, and we're stamped out of Honduras, canceled our TIP, and now we're gonna do the hard part.
Yeah, we'll see.
You.
Oh boy. Holy shit. That was tight. Wait, no? Wait, just wait for the truck to get out. Pays to have the, oh, straight up on the sidewalk? Stop.
Well, this is certainly interesting.
This is fun.
We're on the
We're
sidewalk.
just driving across the sidewalk into Nicaragua. Good times. Welcome to the Pan American Highway. Welcome to Nicaragua. Well, holy heck!
3 hours later.
It lived up to its hype.
Well, not really.
I mean, we weren't there for 5 hours, but still, like...
But it wasn't intimidating at all. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't get the 3rd degree. The van barely got searched. Half of the time was spent registering our binoculars.
Yeah, so for future reference, for all of you who are going to travel through Nicaragua, just leave the binoculars at home. Because that was so stupid.
But we've heard of that happening to people with not kitchen knives, so it just seems completely random
Yeah.
what can happen at the border.
Yeah.
But we were the most worried about our camera lenses, and there wasn't a single question about them. So,
Yeah.
all good.
So we're done. We're in Nicaragua. Woo!
Nicaragua immediately struck us as different. Horse-drawn buggies mingled on the roads with bicycles, motorbikes, and old buses. Riders on horseback went trotting down the road and cattle blocked traffic. As soon as we entered towns where vendors crowded the streets, bicycle traffic doubled, far more than we'd seen in other countries. Nicaragua has a unique charm to it, a charm that we won't have the chance to see much of on this trip, but perhaps we'll see more of in the future. For now, we're heading for the base of Volcanic. The drive up promises a small off-road adventure, and if not that, supposedly the volcano itself is pretty cool. We turn off the highway onto a packed black sand road and proceed to follow it for 8 kilometers up through the foothills to the volcano's base. You'd think that we were venturing into the jungle, a place devoid of human settlement, but who are we kidding? Of course there's a village at the top.
Well, believe it or not, we've got a free spot here in Nicaragua. We're camped here tonight in the middle of a soccer field, and tomorrow morning we're going to attempt to make it to the start of a hike to the top of a volcano. Now, pretty much everything on iOverlander has suggested that anything that is not four-wheel drive won't make it, but they haven't met the slow roamers yet.
Yeah, and the guy whose house you can stay at and he offers to drive said that we can definitely make it most of the way as long as the lower branches don't stop us. And it just makes the hike a little bit longer. Yeah, he said the last kilometer or so is definitely 4x4, so
We'll see.
we'll
It's
see.
gonna be a good time. And I think we're gonna get hit by another storm here really, really quick. Look at that. Look at that back there. And there it is, like clockwork.
The afternoon showers. We love it.
It is actually so surprising. Like, you can almost time it.
How reliable it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's so nice that it's so cool. Like, we would die.
Yeah.
We would be dead. When we got here, it was so hot, and the mosquitoes, I probably got like 30 mosquito bites. Now all the mosquitoes are gone, and it's cool.
And it's another meal night with Meg. Because it's pretty warm here in Nicaragua. Meg made a not hot meal.
Salad.
What have we got in salad tonight, babe?
Romaine lettuce, beets, red onion, quinoa, black beans, goat cheese, dates, parsley, a hard-boiled egg, olive oil, lime juice, and honey.
Amazing.
Oh, and my super dodgy fermented carrots for me.
Well, this morning we're gonna go and try and find out if we can make it to this trailhead. If we can't, I think we might just turn around and head for the Costa Rica border because we got a 4-hour drive. There's a rain cloud holding, I think it was like 50 to 100 millimeters of rain coming our way. So if we're gonna get rained out, then maybe we won't go up. Anyway, it's also like crazy hot and muggy here right now, so not great hiking weather.
Starting off on the track, things were fairly easy with obstacles amounting to no more than small ledges and rocky sections. However, as we continued up, grades increased, rocks and ledges became bigger, and the trail narrowed in on either side of us.
Get scared for my toes on that one.
Despite some steep sections, the old girl continued to climb. This was quickly turning into a perfect trail for this old delivery van to have a little fun on.
camera didn't do it justice. It's super steep, but just short enough that our big gal can make it.
Approaching this section, I knew that the grade was going to get steep enough to stop us. As the van continued to climb over the rougher terrain at the bottom, I held on to the hope that I could get enough momentum to propel us to the top. Unfortunately, as we rounded the last bend, right near the crest, we ran out of power. But knowing that it would be a challenging reverse down the hill, and with an easy winch point just ahead, we decided to try for a little further.
Alright, we're thinking of whipping out the winch.
So close.
So close.
I'll turn it back on. I just want the transmission cooling.
It's turned into our first off-road mission in Central America. Woohoo! Breaking out the winch. Exciting.
And then just like that, we were ascending under our own power once again. The old contractor van continuing to be hard to stop.
On the trail.
Yeah, we're in Troopy country now.
The last section of trail continued to offer enough challenge to keep things slow and methodical, with steep, rocky, and narrow sections. But before we knew it, we were rounding the corner and driving up to the trailhead parking area.
Feels good to do some wheeling in the old two-wheel drive van again, hey?
Yeah, it was fun. Totally
Where
fun.
no other two-wheel drive van has gone.
Always. As you can see, we're about to be pretty much socked in. It's been covered in cloud for the last 10 minutes or so. So we are going to camp up here tonight, not cross into Nicaragua tomorrow, but we're going to do it on Tuesday instead. That way we can have a nice cool sleep up here, do our hike in the morning, and then just drive all the way to the border and cross early morning on Tuesday.
For all those wondering, old girl Betty is running well. Just a little louder until we fix the exhaust leaks and maybe get a resonator put in. As always, we've got all of the traction in the world with our weight and limited slip differential, but just not enough gearing to propel us up the super steep stuff. I'm really starting to believe that our earlier issues at high elevation are strictly due to weight and a lack of power due to air density.
Big rock.
And there's the rain!
That is a lot of water.
It's a lot of water.
The drops are like, they almost look like snow, they're so big.
And when it rains outside, what do we eat? Breakfast!
Brunch!
Brunch!
We get brunch!
Yeah.
Woohoo!
My sandalia all wet.
It took some effort and a bit of grit to get here, but the reward was worth every step. We spent the rest of the day unwinding in quiet stillness as cows ambled past and the occasional local passed through, a gentle reminder of life's slower pace. Weather rolled in with grace, laying a soft blanket of cloud over the mountaintops while rain tapped gently in passing waves. Aside from the wind and birdsong, the world held its breath, offering us the perfect backdrop to simply sit and watch time drift by. In the morning, we started up the trail to Volcán Tilica. Starting from camp, we only had a short 40-minute ascent to the rim of the cone. The sun was hot, but its power ebbed in the face of the consistent wind. The views were perfection, and the joy of being on trail once again, by ourselves with no one else around, propelled us up the mountain quickly.
Much steam down there. Can't see the bottom.
I don't want to go close to the edge.
Well, honey, what do you think of this experience?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, Tilica.
Yeah. Another active volcano in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool hike.
Super cool.
Let's go to Costa Rica now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh no.
We got a long bumpy ride to go down though.
A few hours later, we were parked beside Lago Cocibolca for the night, overlooking Ometepe. The next day, we'd be departing early and making our way out of Nicaragua.
Oh. Oh, you have a collar. I think this one has a owner.
Yeah.
Look at this baby. Oh, look at this baby. Oh, look at the baby. Beep. Beep, 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 beep.
As we'd heard, the process to cross out of Nicaragua was a challenge as well, a reality we weren't looking forward to dealing with. At least we'd have this final camp in Nicaragua overlooking a beautiful place, being lulled to sleep by the waves.
That's a lot of egrets. Eddie! Eddie, is that you? Is that you, Eddie? No, my name's Erwin the Egret. You're Eddie the Egret. I'm not calling myself. Yes.
The next morning, crossing out of Nicaragua, we endured a frustrating hour and a half just trying to get out of the country. A long series of bureaucratic steps had us following multiple different people around an office building to get scribbles and stamps on a piece of paper that a man would eventually take from us at the final checkpoint. A stamped and scribbled piece of paper that would likely shortly after go into the garbage or be piled with stacks of useless papers that gathered dust in an office somewhere, retaining no further bearing or importance for our journey. All because we brought some binoculars with us. Traveling through these 3 countries like we just did was an opportunity to learn a few things about ourselves, to strengthen our resolve and to hone our patience. In comparison to the many crossings around the world, the hours we have spent in the last few days likely pale in comparison to what others have faced. Every experience, every little lesson is valuable and can be applied to the future. Always remember to take every single opportunity you get to build yourself into the human being you want to be. Thank you for being here with us on this journey. We hope our stories and experiences spark something in you. Maybe a bit of curiosity, maybe the urge to get out and explore this big, beautiful world for yourself. Now go chase that next adventure and make the kind of memories that stick with you. Until next time, keep on roaming. If you would like to see behind the scenes content, get route and camp spot information, or if you'd just like to help support us by putting some gas in our tank each month, you can contribute on Patreon. Oh, hey there, bud, and before you go, don't forget to go on over to slowroamers.com to get yourself some rad Slow Roamers merch. For additional photos and commentary on our journey, you can follow along on Facebook and Instagram. Well, holy moly, that was one heck of a journey, and we're happy to be done with it. Until next time, folks, we'll see you later.